Oh, well, I'm tired. It's great, because today's the day that I am going to let work know that 2 weeks from today is my last day. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so for a number of, well, it's been a lot of months now, but I've been really struggling being happy at work, which a lot of people experience from time to time, but for me it's like been constant. And it's been I spent a lot of time thinking about this, fretting about it, and going over all the details to realize that I just need to stop doing engineering work. So this hit me last Wednesday, and I just realized that me showing up cranky to my work does no one any good, ever. No amount of benefit from my work can outweigh me showing up cranky to work. So it was time to just stop. So I am. It's 8:45 in the morning, and it's hot in here. It's also September, 29th, which is kind of dumb. Alright, so it's time to send the email. Subject line: Chris is moving on to new opportunities. I'll be in the office in a week to finish up the remainder of the work and to see everyone before I go. And I go on to tell them that I've been trying to figure out the next steps in my life and find I'm unable to do that effectively as a programmer. Go figure. I much prefer helping people directly through their process of showing up in the world. And then I tell them how much I think they're amazing. I will stay connected to them. So, time to hit the send button. This is not easy to do. Sent. I know it's up. The waiting game. Gosh darn it, my Mac kernel task is taking up a stupidly high amount of CPU. 562%, 71% system usage. A big part of this that I've only been able to articulate recently has been that it's time to really work with people effectively. So over the last month and 5-6 weeks I've been working with Kelly Newman to figure out what the next steps are. Receiving coaching from her, and a coaching practice, a business has been coming up. And so I outlined what felt like sort of a first thing, and really the last 2 days it came through very clearly that really where the work is there, working with people, is in the realm of where the spirit meets humanity pretty clearly. In all of the ways that are esoteric and we don't really talk about day to day. So things like people being connected to their deeper intuition, that's sort of the simpler way to say it. But then once that happens, especially for people who are very sensitive and empathic, there's a opening into other energies that exist. There's like dark energies and light energies all over the place that are just there, and moving with them and working with them in the unique gifts that we have in terms of our sensitivities to them. So some people end up having very vivid dreams of things that are about to happen. Other people have phrases that appear in their head. Other people have sensations that arise in their body in different places. And those are all very real, and they're things that are not measurable by science, but they're observable constantly. And that's where the most interesting work is for me. And everyone has access to it. We just happen to be in a culture that doesn't really talk about it and condemns a lot of it because it's scary. Going into the self and actually experiencing ourselves as being immeasurably powerful is extraordinarily scary to the small ego psyche. And the practice, and the only hardest work we ever have to do in our lives is to embody that more deeply and stretch our capacity to hold more and more of the godliness and God energy that is who we are, to expand ourselves to be more deeper in presence. That's really the only work. And even to understand what that means takes a lot of work. It took me a long time. It took me the last 5.5, 6 years of opening up to there's a different way to live, having had an entire lifetime of scientific thinking, which still applies, and really only dealing in the 5 senses initially, and actually opening up to there's much more going on, and it's way more interesting. And in fact, not even just in terms of the fun discovery day to day, but the knowings that actually appear about deeper problems that exist in the world, that we actually already all have the answers. We all have the answers and know exactly what we need to do. We've just never been taught the ways that we connect to those knowings within our bodies. These are the machines, these are the tools that we were born into the world with. And we have no idea how to use them. And in fact, we numb them a lot when it comes to experiencing depression, which is actually a really great sign. Depression is an amazing tool to start diving deeper into the self, but we numb that out with drugs and distractions. But that's the beginning. That's the beginning to begin to step into the greatness that we are, and to really know who and what we are, and to recognize that actually we're all the same. We're all deeply connected to each other. And once people start to know that, only good flows. Only good can come from that. So that's the next step that's coming now that I've sent this email, and now that I'm actually making space to open up to doing that work all the time. All the time. There's nothing else to be done for this guy for the time being, aside from continually my own practice of showing up in presence and moving with the impulses that arise, with the knowings that show up, to connect more deeply with people and to experience and express that great creativity within us.